As man continues to showcase his ingenuity and creativity, there is this continuous need to also place his ideas on the table of objective reasoning. And I would even argue a rationalized faith. Why? Because ideas are not just ideas. They have the capacity to change the world. So ideas become words, words become actions, actions become a habit, and then before you know it, it's your character, and then that determines the destiny, right? And precisely because of that is why it's important to talk about ideas relating to our civilization. And in this light, I'm referring to the systematic study of bioethics, which is more or less, in a way of putting it, the conscience of a technological civilization. I am Reverend Father Joseph Obada of the Archdiocese of Abuja, and this is Moments with Padre Joe. So I want you to cast your minds on those moments when you have this very polarized argument, this very tensed one on very serious topics, things like abortion, like pornography, like IVF and all of those things. Which stand did you take? What side did you come from? Today I want us to come from a bioethical point of view. And basically what we try to do is to ask a fundamental question, which is, does life begin at birth? Or does it begin at the moment of conception? That's fertilization. And if it does, is it then okay to voluntarily terminate a pregnancy or kill the baby, whichever way you see it? So there's this fundamental question that needs to be asked. Talking about abortion, that is. And this question is the human embryo an individualized human life from the moment of fertilization? And if it is so, can we then say that it is either ethically or legally, depending on the way you see it, is it legally or ethically okay to terminate a pregnancy or to kill the baby at that point? It is important to ask this question because, most times when we argue around this topic, it's usually coming from the standpoint of either a court has ruled this, or some persons according to their culture, or according to their religion. But let us look at abortion as what it really is. And what it is, okay, basically the killing of a baby inside the mother's womb before it can survive outside the womb. Now, I know there are better, sophisticated ways of saying that, but I think it comes to this eventually, killing the baby in the mother's womb before it can survive outside the womb. Now, whichever way you look at it, whichever form of abortion we're talking about, whether it is procured abortion, whether it is spontaneous abortion, the one referred to as miscarriage, whether it is a clandestine kind of abortion, the one self-induced, whether it is legalized abortion, the one ruled in the courts and all of those, selective abortion, there's this one called the therapeutic abortion, which is actually a very wrong term. Why? Because a baby is not just something to be treated. We are talking of a human life here. Or whether it's an indirect abortion, the one that usually comes as a result of maybe a woman trying to solve a particular health issue, and as a result of that, the baby dies. So whichever way we look at it, from what standpoint can we really say that the human embryo also has a human character? So basically what we are trying to answer here is it okay to abort? From whichever standpoint. And I'm arguing that to answer that question validly, we need to look at it objectively. And by objectively, I mean, what does scientific data provide us with? So the first thing is, and this is the first of my argument, that there is a biological reality to that embryo. So what is the embryo to begin with? We are talking about what happens as a result of the fusion of the sperm and egg, right? The embryo is formed. So is that embryo a human life? Now, there is a biological reality. And what I mean by that is, at that point, at the point of fertilization, what really happens is that you begin to notice a coordination. There's a growth process, right? So there's this coordination, there's this gradualness, there's this continuity, and there's this autogenesis, which means everything that happens from that point is auto-generated. All of these are things that we would notice about any living organism. So, at least to that point, we can establish that the embryo is a biological reality. But I'm also arguing that the biological reality is not enough. There is also the human character to that embryo. So it is not just any living organism. It is not just a plant or any living organism. It has a biological reality, yes, but it also has a human character. Why do I think so? Because, let's look at it. If you throw a seed to the ground, you don't get a human being. You don't get an animal. So if you are going to plant a seed, what you expect is a plant. It's the same thing in the animal world, right? So if there's a fusion of sperm and egg, what is produced, what comes out of that is already a human at the developmental stage. So the human character is not something that comes at some point during the development. What I mean is, the human embryo is not a potential human, rather it is a human with a potential. Follow us on this journey of conversations around bioethics. Subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bells, and please share the link with others.